Sure. Oh.
He's virtual.
Good morning and welcome to the Berks County Commissioners Board meeting. Today is July 17th. It is 1 after 10 and we will call the meeting to order. Let us start with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start the meeting by reading the public comment notice, and I will ask my executive assistant, Barbara Lopez, to please read the notice.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivera. Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used, Teams Q&A. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Okay, thank you very much, Barbara. Just for everyone's awareness, Commissioner Linebaugh is joining us online, but he asked me to lead the meeting today since he is not here in person. Today we have a packed agenda, so we will move it along as much as possible, but we will start with our public hearing. And this is in accordance with the legal notice published May 21st of 2025 in the Reading Eagle. A public hearing will be held for approval of the Human Services Block Grant for fiscal year 2025 and 2026 for mental health developmental disabilities. Pamela Seaman, Berks County Mental Health Developmental Disabilities Program Administrator, will present information concerning the implementation of the Human Services Block Grant and request the adoption of the following resolution. And we will read the resolution once Pam has done the presentation, but because this is a public meeting, I'll ask our solicitor to correct me if I'm wrong. Once Pam has done the presentation, we will ask for any public input on that. If we don't, we will close the public meeting and then have the resolution to approve it as then we move on.
Correct.
Okay. Pam, welcome.
Good morning and thank you. And Jackie Steve from the Council on Chemical Abuse is also my co-presenter here today. So the Human Services Block Grant, pulling all of the different human service resources together started for us back in 2012. And what that allowed was greater flexibility to be able to use the state funds. And we get individual allocations for each program area. But if there is one area that we're not using funds in and can use funds in different places, we have the opportunity to go back to the state and ask them to allow us to move things in between. So the funding sources that are included under the Human Services Block Grant are mental health, community-based funding services. I'm sorry, can you advance the slide? Yeah, there you go. The Behavioral Health Services Initiative, Intellectual Disabilities Community-Based Services, Act 152 of 1988, Drug and Alcohol, Homeless Assistance Program Funding, and Human Service Development Funding. Next slide. So again, our programs run on a fiscal year rather than a calendar year. In 2024, 2025, which we just ended, some of the things that we've been focused on have included the development of an LTSR, which stands for Long-Term Structured Residence. That's a mental health service that will be a treatment service And we've actually put that out for RFP, and we have a provider step-by-step that's been identified. And we're working on getting that program hopefully up and operating by later this calendar year. The other service that we've been focused on is developmental disability treatment team, which is a very highly specialized community treatment team for individuals that have both mental health issues and also intellectual disability and autism. Another area that we have known for many years and actually has been part of our block grant plan submissions is the need for additional what we call CRR capacity. That is a mental health community residential rehabilitation program. And we did actually have a plan with Threshold to add a location. Unfortunately, there were some issues in terms of zoning and the initial plan fell through, but they were able to identify a new location, and we hope to have that program open and operating in this next fiscal year. And that'll allow for 6 additional beds. The other thing that we've been very focused on, and actually there was some press that we got about this earlier this year, is CIT, which is Crisis Intervention Team. And that's really, it is more so a program than a training, but it's collaborating with police departments to give them information about behavioral health disorders, and when people with those disorders come into contact with the criminal justice system, how we can work together to come up with different solutions other than people being criminalized or other unfortunate things happening. So we've had, for the last 2 years, 2 40-hour-a-week trainings that we've provided to police officers. And then the other thing that we did with CIT this year is we actually developed a steering committee, which brings police departments together with some of our human service providers to problem solve what are some of the barriers, what are the things that they're facing when they're coming into contact with these situations, and how can we as a community come up with solutions to address those concerns. The other big focus for our department this past year has been the Office of Developmental Programs multi-year growth strategy. And this is a huge undertaking in the IDD world, where for many years, as a county, we've controlled the plans, what's in a person with intellectual disability or autism's waiver plan. We control what actually goes in there, but all of the funding has really kind of been controlled by the state. This is Pennsylvania's way of trying to address the waiting list that exists for people that have needs in this area. And it will allow us to not identify new funding, but look at the funding that we currently have for people who have services that are funded, and look at ways that we can move those services around. And it is a lot of money. It's about $173 million that we currently have allocated to individuals in our waiver plans. The other thing that will be happening with this whole multi-growth strategy is looking at moving in directions with providers of performance-based contracting rather than just a fee for service, actually paying providers to deliver a different kind of service. So we're starting with residential providers, and they will go into different tiers based on, for example, one area is clinical expertise to actually deal with people who are very medically compromised or also have a lot of behavioral health issues. So I'm sure we'll be reporting a lot back on that in 25 and in this upcoming year. Next slide. And you can move it again, another slide. So the consolidated planning process that we use for this block grant plan submission that we do on an annual basis involves bringing multiple agencies and leadership from different teams together to come up with this plan. So again, Jackie from the SCA, from Council on Chemical Abuse, our developmental disability community, the mental health community, our health choices program, our homeless assistance program. We come together as a group. This is actually our second planning meeting, public planning meeting. We had one earlier a couple weeks ago to get public input about service needs. Next slide. So our fiscal forecast for block grant funding for the year just that just ended, and there's going to be a slide coming up, shows that we may have some funding available for retained earnings. And the way that our funding works is at the end of a fiscal year, if we don't use that money, we would have to return it, except they do allow you to keep some money for what they call these retained earnings. The one thing that I will say is we did actually just meet this past week, and we have, it looks like we're going to have significantly less amount of money this year to consider doing some of the things that I'm going to talk about in a slide going forward. And one of the biggest issues for us this year in terms of cost has been paying for inpatient psychiatric hospitalizations for individuals who don't have insurance coverage. So we are a payer of last resort, and we do explore all other possibilities when we do involuntary commitments for individuals. The hospitals that are accepting, we have them work with the person to attempt to apply for medical assistance. So again, what we're anticipating in terms of need is close to $1 million that we have to pay for these hospitalizations, but some of that we're still waiting to see if any of these individuals will actually be eligible for Medicaid. Next slide. And I'm not going to go through all the different areas that are mental health and developmental disability services, what these funds actually go to in terms of supporting individuals. But particularly on the mental health side, the funds that we have are typically available for services that aren't necessarily treatment. They're other supportive services that wouldn't be covered through other programs, or to support individuals who don't have insurance coverage or their insurance coverage doesn't cover mental health funding. Next slide. I mentioned briefly the long-term structured residence. So we did request through a planning process a couple of years ago from the state, from the Office of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services, to allow us to develop a program that we definitely have a need for. A lot of the individuals that we work with that do wind up with criminal charges or are individuals that need more extended care and would be individuals that we would look for admission to our state hospitals would be served by this new program by the LTSR. And we are currently, the program development is in process at a building on County Welfare Road. Next slide. HSDF funds, Human Service Development Funds. You can see in total, we get about 322,000 to serve a lot of different areas, which really are service gaps in between different other funding services. And you can see some of the things that we've supported through these HSDF funds have included home delivered meals, certain kind of case management services. We support the child abuse forensic interviewer at the county CAC, some drug and alcohol treatment services, budget counseling, and prevention activities. Next slide. The homeless assistance program funding that the county receives, again, at the bottom, 579,000. And we work with the redevelopment authority, who actually does issue all the contracts for these services to support several different areas like bridge housing, rental assistance, case management with providers in the community. Next slide, and I'm going to turn it over to Jackie to talk about the drug and alcohol things.
Good morning, everybody. So COCA relies heavily on this critical funding to serve individuals and families throughout Berks County. While funding has remained flat, the demand for treatment services has increased, especially as more individuals come off of the Medicaid coverage and they turn to the SCA for funding and support. We face increasing pressure and with limited resources to meet these growing demands. We are especially grateful for MHDD as they were able to transfer unspent funds, helping us serve more people this year. In fiscal year 24-25, COCA spent $1.6 million on drug and alcohol services, helping to provide treatment for 657 individuals. Next slide. The opioid crisis continues to impact our community deeply. While we've seen decline in overdose deaths, from 123 last year to 94 this year. There's still much more work to be done. In 2024, we distributed 6,182 free Narcan kits. This equips our community with the very important reversal life-saving tool. 780 individuals received warm handoff services. Of those, 693 were appropriate for treatment and 483 accepted that treatment. So that's a very promising outcome that shows the importance of this program. Our harm reduction efforts continue, including the availability of fentanyl and xylazine testing strips, helping individuals actively using substances to do so more safely. Once again, block grant dollars are essential, and COCA depends on this funding to sustain and expand life-saving services in Berks County. Thank you.
Next slide. So just as Jackie mentioned, we did, one of the things that we do is as the year goes along, and I should say that typically our allocations for these different funding areas don't come into well into the fiscal year. So we expect that we probably won't know what our funding is until September or October. And because of that, and because typically there haven't been increases, we are very conservative in terms of how we approach a new year, what we consider funding, any kind of expansion that we're looking at. And then as the year goes along, we see how things are shaking out and decide whether or not we are projecting that there would be any availability to move things around. So we did earlier this year move about 100,000 over to drug and alcohol services. And also this year we had to move some funds into the developmental disability side of things, which is unusual as well. We don't typically need to do that. Next slide. So I was talking about if there are any unspent funds at the end of a fiscal year, and again, some of that happens because of, just as I explained, for example, right now we're waiting to see how things fare out with the hospitalization and what we'll actually have to pay out versus what will be covered by medical assistance. So at the end of the year, if there are unspent funds, we are able to submit a plan to the state to ask to do some other kinds of activities. And typically these activities are things for us that are really more prevention focused. We do a lot of suicide prevention activities throughout the year, and this is what the funding that we identify to do things like that. We also supported Berks Supporting Families Collaborative, which is for individuals with intellectual disabilities and autism. Again, these funds, because they are pretty discretionary, we can't use them for services that are going to be ongoing. It really has to be either one-time only funds or again, things that if we can't do it the next year, it's not like we started a new service. And the suicide prevention activities are listed here as well. Next slide. You can see, again, like I just said, one-time only purchases. For example, we have a crisis provider that operates 24 hours a day. We needed to use some funds to purchase a generator for them. The CIT program that I talked about, they're part of the training that the officers go through actually have virtual scenarios where officers are presented with different scenes of interaction with someone that is diagnosed with schizophrenia or autism, things like that. So we use that funding to support the video headsets and the maintenance of those headsets and various other projects. Next slide. We also did some dementia training with the Office of Aging, and there were some drug and alcohol projects that were done this year as well. Next slide. So we submit this plan to the state as part of our requirement, and then they also provide responses back to us. They either accept the plan, they reject the plan. They also note system strengths and system needs. So some of the strengths that were identified for Berks County is that we do have a robust provider network. The DDTT, the team that I talked about for individuals with autism and intellectual disability, that's pretty intense and in the community, was identified as a strength. And also the movement towards the new ability for the county to manage the waiver budgets. System needs, and this is always a need, workforce development issues. We are struggling as a whole in all areas in terms of having the workforce to deliver the services for the people that we support. lack of psychiatric care, and provider capacity for individuals with intellectual disability and autism. Next slide. So again, some of the things that we're thinking about this year are, what do we do about those program gaps or service areas that we're identifying? And I think this is going to be a particularly tough year. Right now, we know there's a budget impasse at the state level, and I know Commissioner Rivera shared some initial information this morning just about, again, a potential loss of $7 million to the mental health base funding side of things, and also huge implications for us on the Medicaid side in terms of what's happening at the federal government. So I would say we are definitely proceeding very cautiously this year. Workforce development continues to be a huge issue. So again, some of our challenges for this year. Next slide. And that's it for my presentation. Just open up for any questions that you have for either Jackie or I. Any comments?
Just want to thank you and Jackie and the rest of our partners for the work you do. Each year you do more with less, right? And as you said, I just want to read part of an email here that I got from the County Commissioners Association, because one of our priorities is mental health funding. So we're keeping an eye on that. And I'll just read parts of the email. It says, on July 14th, the Pennsylvania House of Representatives passed House Bill 1330, a $50.6 billion state budget. And it says the proposal reflects a spending plan that is $900 million below Governor Shapiro's original budget request. While it outlines major appropriations, it does not include the corresponding fiscal code bills necessary to specify how those funds will be implemented. Then it goes on to some other things, but just other areas I want to touch on here is that I said CCAP has been monitoring this, and it says a particularly concerning development is a reduction to the mental health services line item under the Department of Human Services budget. The line has been reduced from $988 million to $981 million, a decrease of approximately $7 million from the governor's proposed budget. Because the fiscal code language has not yet been finalized, it is unclear which specific components of the mental health line were reduced. However, it appears that the $100 million increase for mental health services requested by counties is not included in HB 1330. In fact, it is possible that even the governor's proposed $20 million increase for county-based mental health services may be at risk under the House passed version. So if mental health is something that's important for you, keep in mind that not only the House bill does not include an increase, it includes a decrease of $7 million under the Department of Human Services budget. So just keep that in mind. We don't know all the details yet. There'll be many changes before anything actually gets finalized, but I will encourage everyone who feels this is important to reach out in the next day or two, even today, to your local legislator, be it a representative, senator, and let them know that mental health funding is important. Listen, we all understand that there's a lot of things that goes into a budget. We go through it here when we look at our budget. We have to look at and determine what we're going to fund, what we're not going to fund. But when you go into the state, they have to look at the same thing as well. But if they don't hear from the constituents saying this is important for us, it's not going to happen. So that's why it's important that we reach out, that we continue to push and say to them, mental health is important. We understand there are many things that you have to consider, but we need proper funding for mental health. So I'd encourage everyone to do that. We need to push our partners as well to reach out to our delegation and say mental health and funding is important for us. Especially, you can't keep reducing it when the costs keep on increasing. So, and apart from that, we don't know what's going to happen because due to the cuts in Medicaid, how that will have an impact on the services, on the health, human services as well. So just wanted to put that out there. We'll now open it up for questions or comments from the public or anyone else for on the
Mr.
block
Chairman,
grant.
just a quick, if I may?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you've talked a little bit about the effect of the cuts from Washington. Can you talk a little, what concern do you have? I mean, that bill was signed into law, so I don't know if, I know that some of the information is trickling out. Concern with regards to the cuts at that level, does that affect?
Well, ultimately, will our Health Choices program, which pays for individuals that have Medicaid that are, it provides both mental health and drug and alcohol services. Pennsylvania was an expansion state, so there were individuals who qualified that may not have normally qualified. And one of the areas that it's looking to close is that expansion that occurred. And then the other bigger issue is other requirements, like a work requirement. They're also looking at having individuals have to produce information on their meeting eligibility twice a year versus once a year, which again, most of the individuals that we work with are individuals that are seriously have serious issues. They're individuals that are permanently disabled. They're not able to work. So we don't know that that's going to have an impact, but all of that will delay the ability for individuals to be determined eligible. Or the other thing is when you have to meet those financial requirements, it's following through and turning in that paperwork. So that could mean that people who would qualify because of what's happening or going on in their life, if they don't submit paperwork, they're going to lose their eligibility. And ultimately, if people need services and they don't have medical assistance, it's going to come back on the county funded side of things. Where, I talked about one of the ways that we use our resources to pay for people who don't have insurance coverage or insurance doesn't cover that service. So, I mean, I was actually on a call earlier this week with Jen Smith from the Office of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services, and they're very concerned about what this looks like. And again, as it rolls down to county programs, I think this is going to be a tough year where we're going to have to make decisions about services that we're not going to fund, or do we fund the first 3 quarters of the year and don't fund the last quarter of the year? Again, so much is up in the air. We don't really know, but the same as Jackie and I were talking earlier, they're already,
Yeah, the same is true on the drug and alcohol side as we try to figure out, like Pam said, do we start and fund everybody and then we run out of money, or do we prioritize certain funds, certain services? So it's quite a challenge.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for the presentation. Great
I was
job.
going to say the other thing, unfortunately, is when you are forced with limited funds, the services that you wind up funding are the services that cost the most money. Where your better efforts could be spent on trying to get people services earlier on, because there are certain services for us that we're mandated to provide, like inpatient emergency care. If we're doing an involuntary commitment of someone, we're going to have to cover that cost. So again, it kind of shifts the idea of getting people assistance earlier to your intervening rather than, at a later stage.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Santoni. Just want to add, and as in one of the NACO workshops that I went, they were talking about this, and there are exclusions for the work requirements and some other things for people with disabilities. What exactly that is, we don't know, but so devil's in the details around that. But at least that's something that's positive there, that there are some exclusions for people that wouldn't be able to meet those requirements for Medicaid. Commissioner Linebaugh has a comment.
First of all, thank you very much for the great work that you do, especially on this block grant program. I do think it's important to remind everyone that the same year that we went into the pilot on the block grant program back in 2012 was also the same year that mental health funding in Pennsylvania took a 10% cut across the board. That cut was never restored. And while continues to be a funding challenge, this block grant program really helped not fill completely the gap, but it recognized that it's the people at the local level doing the work that you're doing and that COCA is doing that really know best how to allocate the dollars. And that's really the message of this block grant program. Secondly, I believe, Pam, is this the third and final hearing for this year?
Yeah, this is our second public hearing. Yes, and it will be our
It's the
final.
third public hearing. Yeah,
Second.
that's important
Second.
for people to, it's the second public hearing?
Second,
Okay.
yes.
My hearing isn't great. That's important to note. That's part of the process. These have to be advertised. It gives the public an opportunity to know what is going on with the funding, how it's being reallocated, to question the allocation, possibly bring forth other suggestions. But this has been a very, very good program. And I bring it up because I'm hopeful that the federal government will take a lead and recognize the value of the decision-making process at the local level. You and your team and other local partners know much better who really needs services, who may not need as much in the way of services, even down to the work requirements. I support work requirements for people who are able to work, but I don't think somebody in Washington, D.C. is going to be able to be the best person to determine whether Johnny or Susie Miller have the ability to do particular work. That's going to be people that know them at a personal level and at a local level. And so thank you very much for the work that you do.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner Linebuck. Do you have any other questions or comments for Pam? Okay, if we do not, do I need a motion to close the meeting, Christine? Okay, with that, we will close the public meeting at this moment, and I will ask for a motion to adopt the resolution.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the resolution approving the Human Services Block Grant for fiscal year 2025, 2026 for the Mental Health Developmental Disability Program.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed. The motion carries. So where did Pam get to? Oh, there she is. All right. Congratulations, and again, thank you for the work that you and your team do, as well as Jackie and Coca as well. So thank you. Okay, we will now move on to the second part of the meeting. But before we move into the presentation, I want to approve the minutes of the July 3rd, 2025 board meeting. Are there any changes or additions to the minutes? If none, the minutes stand approved as presented. Okay, we have two presentations today. One will be on the Berks County 275th Anniversary Strategic Plan, and one will be on the 2025 and 2026 Berks County Dairy Princess, where Brinley Hess and her court will promote National Dairy and National Ice Cream Month and kick off the annual Employee Ice Cream Social. And that ice cream social was set for 11 o'clock, so we're going to change the agenda a little bit, and we're going to start with the kickoff of the National Dairy and National Ice Cream Month so that they can get outside and start serving the ice cream as the employees arrive. But none of us will be able to have the ice cream until we're done with the meeting. So who will be speaking here? Will it be Brinley? Okay. Kim Feast, who's the director of our ag department, will be speaking.
Good morning, everyone. So yeah, we have the Dairy Princesses here today. Nice crowd. I warned them, this is a little bigger crowd than they normally present to here. So I also have Amanda Burkhardt-Sell, the Deputy Director for the Department of Ag. And the Department of Ag certainly is proud of all these young ladies and what they do and how they represent not only the dairy industry, but agriculture as a whole. Come on over this way, ladies. Great to see the turnout that we have. We also do have some certificates then for the commissioners to present to them. But just a side note, kind of fitting today, I had the opportunity to spend Tuesday with with the ladies up at Camp Lily, which is a special needs camp run by the 4-H, the Easter Seals program, but through 4-H, the ladies come on, and they did an outstanding job working with those kids, doing a presentation, doing a craft. And I just thought, as part of the conversation earlier today, that's just a shout out to how they handled that situation and provided that education to that group of people also. So with that, I'll bring Brinley up here, our dairy princess, and she'll start it off.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Brinley Hess, your 2025-2026 Berks County Dairy Princess. I reside in Topton, Pennsylvania, where I'm a recent graduate of Brandywine Heights, as well as I was involved with the Kutztown FFA chapter and our Avidum Club, where I served as president. I work on Shanakey Dairy Farm, where we milk a herd of 68 Holstein dairy cows. And my plans for after high school are to get my vet tech degree through Penn Foster Online.
Hi, my name is Kayla Kale, and I'm your 2025-2026 Berks County Dairy Alternate Princess, and I reside in Shoemakersville, Pennsylvania. And I've been working on the Adams Family Farm since I was about 3 years old, and I am 19 years old, and I recently graduated from Hayward Area High School.
Hi, everyone. I'm the Berks County alternate Dairy Princess. I'm Rebecca Berger. I reside in Ole, PA. I've been working on my uncle's dairy farm in Ole for about 5 years now. I've been showing dairy cattle at Ole and Kutztown Fair for about 7 years. I'm going into my sophomore year at Penn State Berks, majoring in food science.
Hi, my name is Kalina Rhodes, and I'm 15 years old and going into 10th grade at the Ole Valley High School. I live on a small farm in Ole, PA, and show dairy cattle in the Berks County 4-H.
Hi, my name is Alexis Servin. I'm 14 years old, and I'm going to be a freshman at Tulpehocken Area School District. I show dairy cows, a small herd of Ayrshires, and they are housed in Huntington County at my great aunt's farm.
Hi, my name is Danica Rhodes. I am 16 years old, and I will be a junior in high school this year at Ole High School. I live on a small farm, and I show dairy cattle through 4-H.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Wetzel. I'm one of your ambassadors. I come from Topton, PA, where I go to school at Brandywine Heights, entering my sophomore year, where I am very involved in their FFA program, serving as their vice president. I work on Shanakey Dairy Farm, where we milk a herd of about 68 Holstein cows. And my plans after high school are to go to Penn State to get my teaching degree in ag.
Hi, my name is Melena Rhodes. I am 13 years old, and I will be starting 8th grade at the Ole Valley Middle School. I live on a small farm in Ole, Pennsylvania, and I show dairy cattle.
My name is Jordy. Dairy's good for me, this I know. It makes me strong and helps me grow. Milk, cheese, and yogurt, you can't go wrong. Eat every week, milk makes me strong. Yes, dairy's good for me. The farmer tells me so.
She rested up.
Wonderful. Good.
Picture the dairy industry. You're probably thinking of a field of cows that produce milk or simply milk found on the shelf in the grocery store. But the dairy industry is much more than that and is thriving and developing. When I look at the dairy industry, I see the part of my life that was missing up until 5 years ago. Working in this industry has shaped me into the person I am today. It has brought my smile back, taught me more than I ever thought I needed to know, and has shown me no dream is too small and no challenge is too big. This industry has impacted my life in so many different ways, from giving me my heifer, Sunny, who brings a smile to my face each and every day, to feeding calves after a long day, or milking mornings in the summer and getting to watch the sunrise in the barn. I want you to take a moment and think about what the world would be like without the hardworking men and women in this industry. Farmers working tirelessly to ensure a healthy herd that is producing a top quality product, and how much you would miss ice cream cones on a hot summer day or a creamer in your morning coffee. Let's first explore the incredible nutritional value that dairy brings to our families. From childhood to adulthood, dairy products play an important role in supporting our bone and cardiovascular health, along with several other health benefits. Calcium aids in building strong bones, while protein assists in muscle growth and repair. Dairy products are the powerhouse in nutrition, and making them an important part of our diet is essential for our overall well-being. While it is important to consume dairy as you are getting older, you cannot forget about the importance dairy plays in childhood development. When children are growing up, it is important to make sure they are consuming 2 to 3 cups of milk per day, helping them to receive the calcium and vitamin D that is needed to ensure strong bones and healthy development. But not only does it pack a nutritional powerhouse, but dairy plays an important role in supporting rural communities and economies worldwide. The dairy industry positively impacts over 3.2 million farmers and employees worldwide. A career in the dairy industry can provide many benefits to help overall health and well-being. Farmers are able to develop a clear sense of purpose and reasoning to continue maintaining the passion of working and providing for their livelihood. Farmers also stay extremely active throughout their daily lives, which is beneficial for their health. But not only are there health benefits to working in the dairy industry, but there are several other aspects that are positively impacting farmers, such as a sense of pride that comes from producing top quality products from their own farms. While farmers are working day in and day out, a component they are mindful of is the sustainability of the industry. In the past few years, the dairy industry has made significant improvements in reducing environmental impacts and embracing sustainable practices. From implementing new types of technologies to embracing sustainable to improving the resources for prioritizing animal welfare. When choosing dairy products, people are supporting these efforts and contributing to a more environmental responsible food system. The dairy industry has grown and developed in a multitude of ways. From the changes of adding robotic milkers to parlor barns making it easier for farmers to milk their herds. Robotic milkers are helping to make sure cows are being milked consistently and are gathering different kinds of information such as the quality of milk. But other advancements in the dairy industry include wearable sensors for monitoring and maintaining the health of cows. The devices are able to provide farmers with information like the heart rate, sleep quality, and can even detect if cows are in heat. Over the past few years, these new technologies have made significant improvements in the health and well-being of the cows and the production of the herd. The dairy industry plays many important roles in the world we live in today, from providing nutrition for people of all ages, providing economic and lifestyle benefits to our communities, and embracing changes and sustainable practices. Dairy does it all. Dairy products like ice cream and cheese bring many comforts and enjoyments to our lives. These foods wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the dairy industry and the hard work of dairy farmers who care for their cows and work every day to keep them healthy. The dairy industry is ever changing and advancing with new technologies and environmental stewardship. So let us continue to enjoy the goodness of dairy and its products and know that by doing this, we are nourishing our bodies and supporting the environment and local communities. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank the commissioners as an employee of the county for the ice cream social that happens on all the locations at campus. And I do want to just add a thank you to the ladies who I think scooted out. Oh, nope, some of them are here. So behind these young ladies is a support team that gets them where they need to go. And so it is a group effort because I think, again, these are such an outstanding representative of the youth in Berks County and the youth in the agricultural community. So thank you to them. Don't know if you want to do a handout here. And sorry to Commissioner Linebaugh. I hope you're feeling better. Maybe they'll save some ice cream for you. Finley?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's Rebecca?
Becca, congratulations.
Kayla?
Should we give that one out? Congratulations.
Thank
Kayla.
you.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Danica?
Monica Rhodes.
You're all three in a row. Kalina?
There you go. Congratulations. Thank you for everything.
Lena, congratulations. There you go.
Melina? You can see one family is really helping out.
Thank you.
Alexis?
Congratulations.
There you go.
Sarah?
Thank you.
And did we forget anyone?
Yeah, congratulations.
Who did I forget, Jordy?
Who did we forget? Oh, if you could see her face. Jordy?
Jordy, congratulations. Great job. Go.
Congratulations. You did a great job.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. They'll be heading out now to start preparing the ice cream, which goes from 11 to 2 for our county employees here at the Services Center and at the courthouse. Okay, we'll now move to the second presentation for the day. So, is Mike Reinert here? Oh, there he is. I didn't see him behind. Okay, we have Mike Reinert. And we have someone from the Berks History Center and the Reading Berks County PA's Americana region will present the proposed Berks County 275th anniversary strategic plan. So, sorry. Commissioner Linebaugh will start.
Us off. So
Commissioner
first of
Linebaugh.
all, I apologize that I'm not able to be there. I'm fighting a cold and don't need to give that to anybody else. I'm particularly bummed that I'm not there for the ice cream social and to see the Dairy Princess and her court. It was great to hear from them. And I've given Veronica Lepore permission to eat my portion of the peanut butter ripple ice cream from Wayhar Farm. So go ahead and have it whatever you want, and then you can have mine as well, Veronica. So Berks 275th, 2027 is the 275th anniversary of the founding of Berks County. And before we get into a proposed strategic plan for that celebration, I'd like to turn the meeting over to my executive assistant, Veronica Lepore, who has really been a key coordinator in this whole effort. And she is going to introduce the committee members that are there in person, and I believe there may be one or two online. Veronica.
Thank you, and thank you for your ice cream. So we have Heather Adams with BCTV. Heather, if you want to give a wave. Mike Reinert with WFMZ, who is our co-chair. There's Mike. Mike Cowker with Transformative Solutions Network. Thank you. Heather Zimmerman with Reading and Berks County Visitors Bureau. Ron Seaman, former Berks County COO, you might recognize him. Amber Gorman from Berks County History Center. Fred Sheeler, who's our Recorder of Deeds and also from Berks County History Center. And then I believe Christy Brown might be online. And then did anyone sneak in? Is Dr. Michelle Reichert-Huff here? There you are. Sorry, I don't think we've met in person. So she's also here as our committee member. Thanks. Back to you, sir.
Thank you very much to everyone that's here. Also, we'll note that Michael Cowker, I believe, is also our vice chair. The Berks 275th. We're going to get right into this. We've had a lot today, and I apologize to people who normally recognize we'd be done the whole meeting by now. But summer months, we have had a fair number of conflicts. All of the commissioners were unavailable last Thursday because we were at the National Association of Counties annual conference in Philadelphia. I know I'm away on vacation this next coming week, so we had to have these three presentations back to back. The Berks County 275th, very simple, is a 2-year initiative to honor Berks County heritage in our community. Our goals to engage, educate, and elevate through partnership events and outreach. Focusing on our vision statement, our vision is to deliver a focused and impactful celebration that highlights the Berks County heritage and legacy. By partnering with the Berks County History Center and the Reading and Berks Visitors Bureau, we seek to host select events, promote participation in partnering organizations that reflect our unique identity, strengthen our sense of community, and preserve the county story for future generations. The core goals that we are putting forward, one is to celebrate the 275th year history of Berks County through a variety of promotions and events. 2, to promote the Berks History Center as the premier hub for Berks County heritage now and in the future. We pointed this out internally in our meetings, and this sounds melodramatic, but it's the reality. The largest gathering of material, historical documents, art, etc., in the world that is Berks County centric is at the Berks History Center. Yes, you can find some of it some other places. Reading Public Museum has a fair amount of art, but the concentration of all Berks County history, there's no place like it, and a lot of people in our own county just aren't aware of it. We also will collaborate with the Berks History Center and the Visitors Bureau and brand promotions and events for promoting the Berks 275th, educate the public on Berks County's historical milestones, heritage, and cultural diversity, and then create a legacy that sustains historical awareness and enthusiasm beyond 2027. So we look at a timeline for major events. November of this year, we hope to finalize the Berks 275th logo. That is a logo contest being led by the Reading Area Community College and involving all of our colleges. In December 2025, we say launch, but we hope to complete the official website and social media. That is being done in conjunction with the Visitors Bureau. March 11th will be the beginning of a year-long kickoff for the Berks 275th. And the reason March 11th is the actual anniversary of the incorporating of Berks County. July 8th is when we will really begin to ramp up our activities. And the reason is next year is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration. And we want to be careful not to get too far ahead of that and have the proper focus and attention on that. Our last event of the America 250 PA Berks will be on July 8th of 2026. So that's why that date is listed here, and really start promoting activities after that. December 31st, we're talking about a New Year's Eve kickoff to the official 275th year. March 11th, we intend that to be the major celebration event. It could be multi-day. It may even be a week-long celebration. And then October 2nd is the celebration on the 275th day of the 275th year. Signature partners and roles. You're going to hear from Amber Vroman from the Berks History Center, and then Heather Zimmerman from the Reading and Berks County Visitors Bureau. But they are going to be our signature partners. For the Berks History Center, they will be participating as part of the leadership team to help drive the overall Berks 275th strategic plan. They will be promoting and branding all Berks History Center events in 2026 and 2027 as part of the 275th. The History Center will feature the Berks 275th brand in exhibits, publications, the historical review, and programs. Additionally, we will work jointly with the History Center to build long-term relationships with the committee through the Berks 275th program with a special focus on membership in BHC. We just think this is such an enormous asset. A lot of people aren't aware of even the research material that is available in their archives. And then finally, a potential signature initiative or event with BHC. Reading and Berks County Visitors Bureau, the VB, is to participate with the Berks 75th leadership team and committee to help drive the overall Berks 275th strategic plan. They will maintain the official website and event calendar for the Berks 275th. I don't know if people are aware, but even now they have what I would consider the most complete Berks County events calendar in the county. So this is a great partnership for this event. The VB will promote the Berks 275th with branded events to VB members, and they're going outside of the Berks as well through VB website, social media, the Visitors Bureau app, the annual travel guide. It really can give us an reach well beyond the county because of this partnership. And they too will be looking at a potential signature initiative and or event. The budget is one of the things that has been approved last year by the commissioners. And technically, just for the record, while we can approve out years, each one of these years become an actual line item in the budget for that year. So just because we've approved it in advance doesn't mean it's automatic. It still has to be approved each time. What we're looking at is $15,000 for 2025, $15,000 for 2026, $27,000 for $150,000 for 2027. It is the intent for unspent dollars to be rolled over into the following year. That's probably more of an issue here because we're just going to be completing some items at the very end of this year into the beginning of next year. So just make that note. We're also being very cautious. Our budget is focusing on marketing, event production, communications, legacy materials, and we will be looking for partnership support, corporate sponsors. And I do want to make a side note here. We've, I think, demonstrated by the work we've done with America 250 PA, I'm not sure that we've even spent $5,000 over the course of our time with America 250 PA Berks, because we work to get things donated whenever possible. I think that that's important. We don't want to just be wasting is the wrong word. We want to be very responsible, understanding that these are taxpayer dollars. So planned events and project concepts, confirmed major events, March 11th, 26, kickoff, March 11th, 27, main event noted it could be a day or is a multi-day or a week. Partner-led events, we're through Jonathan Heintzman, who I don't know if he's there, but he is one of the members of our committee. Jonathan sits on the board or the foundation board for the Reading Public Museum. And he and the museum are planning to do a special exhibit for the Berks 275th, and it will be in that 275th year. More details to come. The Berks History Center will be focusing on programs and exhibitions. The Visitors Bureau working on themed events across member venues and locations, and the Reading Film Office. Tracy Schott and Cammie Harris are part of our committee, a great asset to our efforts, but they are also coordinating events and co-branding some events with the Berks 275th. Some of the potential projects, pagoda-focused events, a commemorative publication. Donna Reed and Laurel Miller are working on a possible joint publication that would cover America 250 PA Berks and the Berks 275th, working on potential student contests, county history tours, discussing planning of a time capsule, possibly planning a tree for the 275th, working with some religious community events, and then a doors open effort for museums, businesses, historic homes and buildings throughout the county. We do have a video committee. They will be coming up with a more exciting name as we move forward, but they have met, and their vision is to celebrate Berks County's 275th anniversary by producing a compelling series of 5-minute or less historical video vignettes that honor the county's past, reflect on its present, and inspire its future. The videos will be youth-driven and professionally supported, blending storytelling, education, and community pride. I think what's important here is we've recognized that we're not going to create a video for the 275th that's 20, 30, 40 minutes or an hour long. That we are in a world today where people like to look at videos as vignettes, short stories, and the committee got together, and that's exactly what they're doing. I already mentioned the logo contest, and that is moving forward under the leadership of the Reading Area Community College. The marketing committee will meet as needed. The plan here, and a key person on that is Jonathan Heitzman, will be utilizing all media assets available through Berks County Public Relations Officer. Publications of partners like the History Center, the VB, the Reading Public Museum will be utilized. We plan to partner with key media outlets, BCTV, WFMZ. We've already had preliminary discussions. Those two partners really want to get involved. We'll be talking to WEEU, Reading Eagle, Lamar, Berks Weekly, etc. And we're looking for public support services, public service announcements, and the like, and really helping us get the word out. Our Community Engagement Committee co-chairs Mike Reiner from WFMZ and myself. I didn't mention this. I did mention earlier, but I don't have it listed. Michael Kalker, Vice Chair. And then core partners in the History Center and the Visitors Bureau. Heather Adams is a big part of our committee from BCTV. Jonathan Heitzman, Berks County Public Relations Officer, and Veronica Laporte. So that's the leadership team. And then in addition, and several of them are here and online, key community members. And once the strategic plan is approved, we will list names and organizations where applicable, and we will post the full committee on our website. Final note is we are working to develop metrics whereby we can measure and evaluate the success. We'll be looking at attendance, community feedback, press coverage, educational reach, and plan to document events and stories for permanent archival access. That brings me to the end of the proposed strategy. This was made available to my colleagues and to the public, I believe, as part of the packet. And Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion for the county of Berks to approve the Berks 275th strategic plan.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments? I just, as a comment, like to thank Commissioner Linebach for his work here. Commissioner Linebach is also involved in the 250th celebration, which will be happening next year. The 250th celebration from the Declaration of Independence as well. So he's a historian of the group. So Commissioner Linebach, thank you for doing that and your involvement in all of this. It's important to be able to keep our history alive and keep passing that on to future generations, because it's just so easy to forget what our history is and what we can learn from that. And also thank you to the other members of the committee. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for the work that you do as well. Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, I would note we do actually have a member of the committee that was alive when most of this happened, and that's Ron Seaman.
Ouch.
Ron, do you want to say
Hopefully Ron's
anything?
smiling because I can't see Ron's